Just a few days to go until I head back to the UK. A couple of days in Weymouth, visiting Phil and Julie. So we're down here with Graham and we're on Bincleaves Road. And just over there, on the left-hand side of that duplex, semi-detached, number 4, is my brother's old place. So he's been there for several years and had many a good time there. But it's time to move on, and he's just moved to another bungalow, low set, just up the road. So we're going to have a walk today down to the Nothe Fort, have a little bit of a stroll around this beautiful part of town, and give you a little bit of history perhaps on some of Weymouth and Portland, and perhaps share a few of my old memories. Absolutely beautiful morning here in Weymouth today. Excuse me, got a bit of a cough. And as I pan round, you can see the outlook over Portland. That's Portland in the distance, and the old HMS Osprey. I don't know if it still is. And yeah, it's actually quite cold today. The sun gives it a bit of a misleading context. See the old breakwaters there of Portland. There's a cruise ship in there as well, and that cruise ship I think is just used as a static facility to take people at the moment. I don't know if it's actually cruising around, yeah, maybe for isolation or otherwise, maybe for immigrants, I'm not sure. But yeah, there's an old Coast Guard lookout station there. There's the old breakwater, and that's where they used to do torpedo testing during the Second World War, or even just before. And looking out to the Dorset coastal paths, may not be able to see that so clearly in the sun, and that's something I'd like to do when I have a bit more time, is walk from Poole to Weymouth. But yeah, just a lovely day here today in Weymouth, overlooking Portland Harbour. So just an acknowledgement of the life of Thomas Fowle Buxton, and we're here by the monument that's been erected in honour of his achievements. I'm not going to read it all out, but basically it saved me looking it up on Wikipedia, and yeah, he did quite a fair bit for the town of Weymouth. Tide is lower today, so we'll walk around. We'll see if we can walk around the outside of the Nothe Fort. Some swimmers just down below. A bit cold today, so although the sea temperature's warmer for UK, I wouldn't be venturing in there. So good luck to them. A few ships moored out in Weymouth Bay. Probably just worth filming this as we come to the Nothe Fort. This is steeped in history, goes back hundreds of years, and you can see it was an important defensive structure for possibility of invasion, and would have been at the times of cannon. And you see an old anti-aircraft gun up there on the left of the flag. Yeah, important strategic placement for this, possibly before the breakwaters were built for Portland Harbour, which was a strategic naval base during the First and Second World Wars. This explains the Nothe Fort, and just to get my facts right, the breakwater was built in 1847, and the construction of the 4 forts, including the Nothe Fort, began in 1859 to protect the harbour against invasion from the French. So you can see how the crossfire would have happened if there was an invasion. So it's quite interesting now. And as I'm standing here, I'm right by the entrance. You can see how thick that stone is. Quite difficult to attack from the mainland. And as we pan round, this is the entrance to the Nothe Fort itself, and it would have had, I'm thinking, a portcullis or maybe even more gates in place. And it's all acknowledged for D-Day at the moment. They're doing D-Day 80th anniversary celebration, so I think that's quite interesting. So yeah, we might have a wander in there in just a sec. This is the main entrance way to Weymouth Harbour, so deep water access. You do get occasional ferries and ships coming in here, but not so much these days. There's a tug there to help the big ships come in. Normally used to pull alongside there, go into the Channel Islands and back to France, Cherbourg. but as I say, pretty quiet these days. And looking out in the distance, there's the main Victorian skyline for Weymouth Harbour, Weymouth Bay. And in the background you might see the White Horse, not so clearly visible today, but it's out there. And this is the Stone Pier Cafe, which are getting set up for the day. We're going to take a walk out on that breakwater and have a look back against the... Just on the other side of the fort, and there's a little pathway here down to the shingle beach, and a little place where families and kids can explore the rock pools on the other side of the fort. And I remember coming here with Jason, Andrew, Fern and Harry when they were little, and probably even Gemma, Lisa and Laura. Anyway, we're going to have a little walk out the end here and have a look at the view. This gives a much better perspective of the harbour entrance. You see the Nothe Fort on the left, and the wind's starting to pick up already. It's an icy, it's the middle of June, and it's an icy northerly coming down to bring the temperature down to single digits, which seems unbelievable in the middle of summer, but there we go. That's what UK weather does to you. And just pan around. Beautiful coastline of Weymouth, Weymouth Bay. On days like this it is absolutely beautiful here, regardless of the temperature. You can always put more clothes on. The horse, King George, leaving Weymouth, not quite visible because the sun hasn't come round. I'll point it out maybe afterwards when I'm editing. But yeah, what a lovely day this is. Okay, gotta love this. This guy's been going for years. This is the little ferry rowboat that goes across. £2 to go across, or otherwise you get to walk all the way down to the harbour, do a U-ey over the bridge and come straight back. So there it is. Looks like they go across in New Dawn, the little rowboat, and he takes you straight across to the Shambles steps on the other side. Absolutely fantastic. We've got the TS Royalist, the Sea Cadet boat on the other side there as well, the quay. They've really done a lot of work to clean up the other side of the quay, got rid of the old rail tracks. Lifeboat there, it's been there for years. That well supported down here is the RNLI lifeboat station, been there many times when I was a young fella growing up. A few Christmas parties as well, so that was quite good fun. And yeah, I'm just going to have a walk down Weymouth Quay now and have a look at some of the boats and some of the life as it starts to wake up on this Tuesday morning in the middle of June. Days don't get too much better than this. Lovely clear skies, gulls chirping in the background of course, and of course some customary work going on. But here's Weymouth Harbour, and there's the lifting bridge in the background. That'll go up a few times a day to let the yachts out. And just panning around, this will get real busy later on. There's the harbour master on the other side, the quay side there. Everyone checks in, pays their dues, their fees, and yeah, just panning around. A lot of memories about this place. This is Hope Square, early in the morning, hasn't opened up yet. Red line behind me. Used to have the Oyster Festival down here. Used to do BA training in the breathing apparatus in the building behind me when it's being renovated. Phil and Julie used to live up the alley up there, which was known as affectionately as Dog Poop Alley because of the amount of dog poop that people left there. Behind me here is the old Devonish Breweries building, and you can't really see it because it's being renovated right now. And you can see it says Devonish's Brewery behind me. And then this is the Galley Bistro, which is being refurbished now, and yeah, just a games bar and a place where people meet and gather during the summer holidays. Anyway, we'll keep going. This place has a lot of memories. The old Rooms Inn. Used to, when Phil had the fishing boat, which as you can see is just, all the fishing boats are tied up just down here. We used to come in after a catch of sea bass and have a couple of beers before heading home. And just across here it says by the quay. There used to be a fish and chip shop there. It was either there or in the gallery. And again, we used to go and get fish and chips. I think it was by the quay anyway. Okay, getting closer to the lifting bridge now, so that's going to go up. I imagine shortly there'll be sort of timetable for that. And right opposite there is Rendezvous, that's been there for many years. Got quite a few stories from a good night out there. In fact, I think it's physically impossible to do a pub crawl in Weymouth because there's that many pubs. Hello! There's that many pubs here. It's probably wouldn't get around too far without collapsing. But anyway, let's go and have a walk across this bridge. Just having a walk down St Mary Street in Weymouth. Pedestrianised many years ago, so cars can get up here for access to load their wares in for the day. Yeah, a lot of places still not open. We can see the clock there, but that's not the right time. Just coming up to 9 o'clock and they're still not open. Wow, a bit different to Australia. Never mind. We'll head down here and then get out onto the seafront. This is what you've got to love about Weymouth. Look at the statue behind me there of George III, I think it is. George III, commissioned in 1809, that statue, a gift from the inhabitants of Weymouth. Absolutely fantastic, look at that. And as I pan around, that's one of the old bathing carriages, it looks like to me, where they'd take it down, the horse-drawn carriage, into the sea. The ladies or gents would get changed and then get into the water through the steps on the left-hand side. There we go. Just going to take a walk now on the other side of town and head out towards Bowleys Coveway. Like all good seaside towns, there's the old Punch and Judy show, which probably commences later today. I'm sure they'll come down. It's really just starting to wake up the town. It's 9 o'clock. Helter Skelter up there in the distance, and there's a aeroplanes, and they might even have the sand sculptures a bit further down. But I'm going to head out this way and head towards the clock, and we'll see how far we go because we've got a fair bit on today. So I'm going to head back to Poole, but should be a nice walk along the seafront. Okay, I have to do the customary clock picture. Everyone knows the Weymouth clock, and there we go, erected to commemorate the Jubilee of the reign of Her Majesty the Queen Victoria, 1887. Just a famous landmark, and yeah, symbolic of Weymouth town. Always take a picture or a bit of a video every time we come past here. Always has to be restored, of course, because it can't take the weather indefinitely. But yeah, it's a good chippy, by the way, King Edward's. Been here for years. And yeah, here we go. There's the old pier structure in the distance, damaged by storms years ago and then taken down, but the pavilion side still remains. And yeah, we'll head on out to the Oasis Cafe at the end of the breakwater, I reckon. Always good to pause, stop and reflect. The Anzac Memorial here in Weymouth, memory of the Anzac volunteer troops. Just some poignant words there. They came from afar in the cause of freedom. Coming to the other side of the world, New Zealand, I imagine that's the emergency force or otherwise. Another classic street in Weymouth, this one's called Brunswick Terrace. Just love these old seaside bed and breakfasts. A little cafe on one of them there, but yeah, the bunting hanging outside. Just classic Weymouth, you know. Bloody brilliant. These will be absolutely packed, if not already. They soon will be in school holidays. But yeah, it's just a bit quieter up this end of the town, and the beach is going slightly shingle. You got some beach huts there, changing areas, and we're going to take a walk out on the breakwater. It's coming up very shortly. So this is a point at which we're going to have to say goodbye to the seafront, just in the interest of time. Lovely gardens here at Green Hill, well cared for, lovely place to walk and sit and enjoy the view. I could keep going, but I'm not going to get back in time. So you can see the resort there at Bowleys Coveway in the distance, and the Dorset Cliffs. You could walk all the way to Swanage and Poole that way, take you a few days, something that's on my bucket list. And then looking back towards the North Fort and Weymouth seafront. So I'm going to take a walk. There's a herring gull there, look at him, he's a big bugger. Anyway, we'll say goodbye to Weymouth here, and I'm going to head off up Green Hill now and head back towards my brother's place. End of the line. Here comes the Weymouth train. It's going to have to go all the way back and goes all the way to London, Waterloo station. So, brings back a few memories. Auntie Catherine taking me down here, possibly with Mark Bell, or that might have been on another occasion. But yeah, it's been a little while. But yeah, these trains still go daily to London, believe it or not. Takes you a few hours, but you know, could be worth it. So about to head out on the Rodwell Trail, and this is a robin, namesake I guess, and this is one of the old stations here. I'm not sure which one it would have been. There's probably names somewhere, but they've now turned it into a cycle path and walking way. So as you can see, somebody's coming down, but you can see it's an old station. This is the old Portland branch line that used to run from Weymouth to Portland and stopped at about half a dozen stations on the way. It was decommissioned in the late 60s after the Beeching report, and many branch lines were closed across the country. And of course they realised soon afterwards that it was probably a mistake, but anyway, it was deemed to be the right decision at the time. Worth just taking this now. In the distance the swing bridge is open. You can see one of the larger vessels is going through. We're here on the Rodwell Trail. There's a yacht just about going out as well. So yeah, looking over the Asda's car park. But yeah, in the distance, might be able to zoom in on that. And yeah, it's not often you see the bridge open, but it's open right now. Good stuff. And you can see as we go along this trail, it may not be clear from the camera, but this is quite an embankment we're on. It's quite a big drop either side. And this is the old, they call it the Rodwell Trail, but this is the old railway line to Portland, closed in the late 1960s. So it's a shame it closed, because they could have done with this now, but you can see how high up we are. So they would have used a lot of material to build this embankment up. But now it's used as at least a walking track and a bicycle track, and obviously it's very popular with walkers, dog walkers, etc. So yeah, it's good. Coming to the first of many little tunnels along the way. This one's reasonably substantial, so you can see the railway line would have been on the left, the straight path. Not sure why it's so wide, if I'm honest, unless it was a passing place. So a bit echoey in here, but yeah, I don't understand why the tunnel was made so wide. All I can think of is to service or to pass. So anyway, maybe someone else knows the answer to that. And looks like we're coming up on another station on the left, so we'll have a look at that in just... Yeah, so as I thought, it is another station, decommissioned of course, but the slabs on top are in pretty good nick. So yeah, not sure which one this was. You can see even a platform on the other side, so maybe there was a dual track situation here, and that's why the bridge or the tunnel previously was so wide. But it seems a reasonably large station, and I think it might be Rodwell. But anyway, see what this one, this just tells us that there's bats in the area, obviously at night time. But if I find the name of the station, I'll add that into the video. A few more bike riders coming through. Just listen to the bird life through this cutting. So we've been on the embankment, this is the cutting. I imagine when they cut this out years ago, they used the materials to build the embankment. That's normally the way it goes. A couple of walkers with dogs there. But this is the bridge. This is Buxton Road on top of the bridge. So we'll be heading up there in a second and taking a right hand turn and heading back to Phil and Julie's place. But yeah, it's been a good walk today. Probably a good 11 or 12 kilometers by the time we get back, which is a nice walk. Had a good coffee, can't be too bad. They've put this extra walkway on this bridge because in the olden days the bridge was suitable for horse-drawn carriages and narrow vehicles. Nowadays not so safe, so you can see there's an extra walkway that's been put in place. But yeah, this is the obviously an old railway bridge, but we'll be taking a hard right in just a moment and heading up and heading back. Just coming into Big Brother's place now, new bungalow that they bought recently and moved into. Got the cars outside, so yeah, we're gonna head off soon to Poole, catch up with the cousins, and then we'll be heading back here, then off to Australia on Thursday. Happy days.